Yo, what is happening, my people? Thank you so much for joining me again for another video. I hope this video finds you and your loved ones well. Let me start by saying this particular channel will not focus on dating here in the Philippines, as there are a plethora of other channels that cover that very topic and are willing to delve into greater details than I am willing to. That said, as it is my year review, I will touch on it and give you one man's anecdotal experience thus far. Let's get it. All right, from the get go, I'm going to detail my reasons for me moving to the Philippines. It has nothing to do with anyone else and their reasons. I can only tell you from my perspective what was my personal motivations. So take it or leave it, but I'm giving it to you at face value. One of the national languages here in the Philippines is English. So the language barrier isn't as big as some of the other countries I was thinking about moving to, like Thailand and Vietnam. And truly, how can you put a price on that? Don't get me wrong, some of the meaning and idioms of words are lost in translation, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to communicate. As an example of this, if you are dining at a restaurant and you tell the waiter you would like your food to go, they have no idea what that is, and they're going to look at you like, what the hell did he just say? You have to tell them takeout. But even if it's something a little confusing like that between the two of you, because you both can speak English, you can fathom it out. The cost of living is much cheaper than living in the United States. It is so amazing to me how expensive it is to live in the States. And I mean, you're just living. Like, I didn't sign up for this, man. It's too expensive to be alive in the United States. It is geographically positioned well within Southeast Asia, where I can travel to different countries very easily: north, south, east, and west. And the flights are very inexpensive. Within the country, tourist spots, as I mentioned in my previous video, are storybook beautiful. And you can travel to many of these destinations round trip for around $100. Just try to fly anywhere within the United States round trip for $100 and see how far that gets you. And the most important reason why I personally moved is the retirement age in the United States was moved up to 67. Couple that with, and I'll save you the decade long details, but I went through hell, hell on earth. And after I came out the other side of my own personal hell, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to work 40 hours a week, have 2 days off, and do it all over again. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us, and as you sit there listening to the sound of my voice, I am all but certain you know plenty of people that died early. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to work until I was 60 plus and maybe make it 1 year into my retirement, or who knows, maybe 20 years into my retirement before I'm up out of here. To put it another way, I didn't want to wait until my 60s to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and with whom I want to do it with. That was something I didn't want to gamble on. So I made a decision to move here and start a new life. And let it be known, honestly, it wasn't even that hard of a decision. That's it. Those are my reasons for selling all of my belongings and moving over to the Philippines. Now, did I say anything about women in the aforementioned reasons? Of course, I didn't say it because that wasn't one of my reasons to move here. So you can't use that against me for what's coming next. Dating a Filipina is literally the metaphorical cherry on top of the cake. Bellissima. And in order to serve the gentlemen properly whom are looking to visit or make the move to the Philippines permanently, I must address the why, because that's where the meat and potatoes are on this particular matter. And in order to address the why, I must paint the picture properly and speak on the women in the West versus the women in the Philippines. And that is the why. And oh boy, let me tell you, it is a stark contrast from some of the women in the West compared to Filipinas here in the Philippines. Well, here we go. I am keenly aware that many men all over the world flock to multiple countries for a girlfriend, fiance, or wife. Countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, Colombia, Japan, the Dominican Republic, South Africa, Madagascar, South Korea, Thailand, and I could go on and on. But before I dive into this, I would like to take a moment and speak directly to the ladies in the West real quick for a second, because the gentlemen will, by and large, agree with me on most, if not all, of what I'm about to say. And shout from the mountaintops. Ladies, I cannot convey this point to you enough. Why men move to another country or look for a woman in another country to bring her home is not what you feel it is. And notice I said feel and not think. Men don't flock in droves to these countries because they are looking for an easy lay. A trip to your local streetwalker hangout spot is much cheaper than obtaining a passport, planning the trip, securing the hotel, securing your plane tickets, and the money spent in country. I'm sure we all can agree on that point, right? Right?
Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right, right, right.
It's not because they're simps. It's not because they can't get women in their own country. It's not because they can't handle a woman that's about her business or whatever cockamamie reason you feel it is. Do you want to know why they do it? Genuinely, do you want to know? It's because they're trying to escape and your ever growing masculine qualities. They're looking for feminine women. It's because an abundance of women in the West have lost their way and they don't know how to be women anymore. You're more educated than ever. You own more businesses than ever. You make more money than ever, but you're also more unmarried and lonely than ever. It's because men are choosing not to engage with you. Having said that, I genuinely don't mean it as an insult. It's a fact. And I'm going to ask you to stick with me just a bit longer because I am, in fact, going somewhere with this. The feminist movement is one of the worst things that could have happened to the women in the West because y'all took it too far. Some women have adopted too many masculine qualities that hell spawned the I don't need a man generation of women. And I use that term loosely. But at the same time, and stick with me on this, ladies, this is going to get hard, but you definitely need to hear it. While the women in the West are more masculine than ever and say they want equal treatment, yet they still want to be treated like a lady. Women still want men to open their doors for them. They still want a man to give up their seat if there are no other seats and a woman is standing. They want the men to pay the bills in the household, do the house repairs, cook for the family, clean the house, give flowers, take you on romantic dates, do little gestures to make you feel special, stand up to any man that may besmirch your honor, and of course, go check out the strange noise in the middle of the night. No, hell no. Hypocrisy is thy name. Some women in the West, they don't want equal treatment. They want special treatment. You still want all of the benefits of being a lady, still want to be treated like a lady, and yet you're so masculine. You don't even act like a woman. Because surely, if there's an intruder in your house in the middle of the night, it's not your ass that's going downstairs to protect the family and possibly lose your life while Richard is huddled up with the kids until you give the all clear. But back to the original point. Yes, ladies, your lack of femininity and genuinely not knowing what men want from his woman has led men to look elsewhere around the world rather than dealing with your difficult ass. And of course, you don't believe me. Why would you? That's your masculine trait of needing to be right all of the damn time kicking in. But I'm giving it to you straight and let it be known.
Booing it doesn't make it less true.
You don't believe me? You think I'm a jilted middle-aged man that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about? And I didn't move to Asia for the reasons I gave you at the beginning of this video, but I only moved here so I can date and control these little Asian women? Is that what you think?
Challenge!
Well, ladies, send out some feelers to the men that you trust in your life and ask them some very candid questions, and then share their answers with me and find me proven right. But in all fairness, you have to give them amnesty. So whatever they say, you don't get all butthurt when they tell you the truth of the matter. But ladies, when you are polling these men, make sure they are men of value, men of substance, successful men, and even men that have been married 20 plus years. They'll let you know. But ladies, you have to understand that your superpower lies in your femininity, and you are so damn important. I ask you, what's wrong with being a caretaker to your family? Is that not an honor? What's wrong with being the nurturer to your children? What's wrong with being the historian that passes down generational knowledge to the next generation? Seriously, think about it for a second. Think about all of the things that your great grandmother and your grandmother taught you. I'm sure those lessons have served you well in your maturation process. I know the things that my great grandmother and my grandmother taught me lives on within me to this very day. Ladies, what's wrong with you being feminine? Speaking of feminine, let's pause here for a spell and hit on that point. Most women don't know how to embody that word anymore. Take a second and reflect on what that word really means in your head. Because it's not wearing dresses. It's not getting your nails and hair done just so you can look cute. It's not putting those long ass spider leg eyelashes on your eyes. Not to mention, men have repeatedly told you for eons, we do not like that. We prefer your natural hair, your natural lashes, your natural nails, your natural breasts, even if it's an A cup. Give me the A cup. And don't get me started on the metamorphosis surgeries you have on your breasts, your ass, your calves, etc., etc., etc. And to my sisters, oh man, to my sisters, stop it with the damn braids already, man. They're poisoning you, and by the time you're in your 40s and 50s, your forehead has long since said goodbye to you, and you have the hairline where you could fit into any Shaolin temple monastery. Oh yeah, and that baby hair ain't fooling no damn body. But you do it any damn way because you're going to do whatever the hell you want to do.
Miss, I don't need nobody.
Keep on keeping on, ladies. You're fighting the fight. It's not the good fight, but yeah, you're fighting it any damn way. To your dismay, that is. The yin yang perfectly encapsulates masculine and feminine energy. Every man has some feminine energy, and every female has some masculine energy. When those two come together, there is harmony. But when a woman has too much masculine energy, or the male has too much feminine energy, the entire relationship is off and there can be no peace. And more than anything, men want their woman to be their peace. Not some argumentative woman in the New York Minute will yell and point in her man's face.
Fine. I'll do it without you. I don't need you or anybody else. I'm gonna make it on my own. You'll see. You'll all see.
And for the record, no, none of my past women have been this way, nor have they told me that. I was mentored properly, and I know how to pick women better than that. Ladies, read this. Oh no, he didn't go there. Yes, ladies, I sure as hell did. The odds are, if you are from the United States, you fall under one of the Christian religions. But you will ignore this, huh? That's what's hot in the streets, right? I further submit to you what's wrong with being submissive to the right man that knows how to lead and steers you and the family in the right direction. And that word submissive has taken on such an ugly meaning in the West, and it's not even a bad thing. But your independent ass too busy doing you to even acknowledge that. There simply cannot be two captains in charge, and you in your heart of hearts know that. But in your mind, your stubbornness won't let you admit it. And even more so, it won't let you fall back and let him lead.
Got him!
got him.
Question time. What do you bring to the relationship table? And that's a serious question because a man of value and substance don't care about how much money you make. We don't care how much money you have in the bank. We don't care how many degrees you have. We don't care what your occupation is. What we care about is if you are our peace and how you will enrich our lives. Or I should say, can you enrich our lives? We care about if you're going to make our lives easier or you're going to make it harder. We care about if you are wife material. We care about if you have a nurturing soul. We care about if you will be a good mother to our children.
I want to play a game.
Let's remove the things that men do not care about. That's your college degrees, your money, your occupation, your business. And seriously, ask yourself, what do you bring into the relationship besides those things?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
You can't use sex and affection because you are getting the same in return from the man, so that cancels out. Not to mention, he can literally get that from anybody. So, again, what do you bring to the relationship table that makes you enticing to a man of value and character? And again, I'll wait. Now that you've come up with,
Bagel.
ask yourselves one simple, I mean, well, I'm pretty sure it'd be simple for the men, but it won't be so simple for you ladies. Ask yourselves, why aren't men in droves flocking from other countries to marry women from the United States? If you're such a prize like you feel you are, why aren't men probing the 50 states for you? Huh? What was that?
I'm all ears.
Yeah, there are some here and there, but those numbers are minuscule and literally are a drop in the bucket compared to the men running away from you and your independent ass. Currently, there are multiple movements and thousands of men scouring the earth for his future wife. And I mean, why shouldn't he? Look at the caliber of women that's in circulation that American men have to choose from. Let us all take a real moment and vomit together. Oh my goodness, man, this has been so draining detailing all of this stuff that the men have to go through. But that's okay, ladies. While you're busy trying to find yourself getting ran through because men can sleep with a lot of women and be called a ladies' man, but when women do it, they're called a 304, and you don't think that's fair, you are doing your part to buck that stereotype. And whilst you're doing all of these things that men don't want because you are a strong, independent woman,
Here comes a new challenger.
enter the women from around the world. Now that I've described the wasteland and the land of soldier women, on to the Filipinas and the oh so stark contrast and what it's like to date them. But in order to do that properly, we have to get in the Wayback Machine one more time and go way back.
Picture it. Sicily, 1912.
Well, it wasn't Sicily, it was South Korea. And it wasn't 1912, it was 2004. I'm active duty Air Force and I got stationed at Kunsan Air Base, South Korea. This, my friends, is where I got my first introduction to Filipinas. And yeah, it was a hell of an introduction. It was. I will forego boring you with tales of my year long debauchery with the lads bouncing around the peninsula and instead tell you that's when I found out Filipinas are different. There's just no other way to say it. They just are. After getting acquainted with Filipinas and through my experience with Filipinas, that's when I coined the phrase Filipinas can make a nun with white gloves on, eat a red popsicle on a hot summer's day. Filipinas are quite hypnotic and genuinely everything a man wants in a woman. They are feminine. They are beautiful. They are inspirational. They are cooperative. They're fit. They're submissive. They're family oriented. And they have a comforting character. And let me say this to the ladies, that is, if there are any still watching, please, please. Stop with that tired ass line that the women overseas are only looking for a man from the United States so she can get a green card and move to the States herself. Respectfully, why do you talk down on these women when you yourself are hardwired to look for a come up? You wouldn't look for a man that's making $30,000 a year to be your husband and the father of your children, would you?
Hell no!
So I submit to you, you're no different than the women you so callously look down upon. You are them and they are you. And let me say this for the record, there's nothing wrong with that. We as men are supposed to provide for you, to take care of the family. But yeah, stop that this second, right now, immediately.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, back to the Filipinas and what to expect when dating them.